start my screen flow just in case this doesn't work. Sometimes it craps out on me. Record audio from microphone. Don't need the computer audio, but it's not going to happen. Thank you guys for bearing with me as I'm just getting set up. I hope you're all doing beautiful. Hopefully on the 13-week Heal Thyself at Home course. I know a lot of you are colon cleansing, a lot of you are fasting, a lot of you are just making steps towards better health and interested and have lots of questions. I'm going to take the next hour to just go through and start to answer some of these questions. And if I feel the questions are adding up too quickly, maybe I'll do some more of these things. Might even need to do it once a week just to get some of these things underway. Just to give you an update on what I'm doing, I've got a Praxis program with Chef Cynthia Louise and myself starting in a few days with 32 people coming here to Bali to experience Praxis, to practice that which we have learned, to do intermittent fasting, to just have a download of iridology and sclerology and learn all of those things. We can identify where our bodies are stressed. We take photos of everybody's eyes. They get to look at them. They get to see comprehensively what's happening internally, what's going on for themselves, and then they get to make the most amazing foods ever with Chef Cynthia Louise. We do that for 5 days. It's a program that I really, really enjoy. After that program, I'll be coming on tour to Australia, so if you didn't know that already, please share with as many people as you can. You know, it's really important that we get more and more people on board with this message of self-care, you know, drinking water, getting out in the sun, breathing deeply, working on our relationships, because I know as we work on ourselves and we become the change we want to see in the world, that affects everybody else around us, and it's just going to become a viral experience where I believe we can have a massive impact on this planet for the positive, and for ourselves individually as well. So I'll be on tour for about 7 or 8 days. I'll be going to Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, and Perth. So that's a little update. After that, I have a 30-day Heal Thyself program coming up, which is going to be a lot of fun. I've got some people coming with some pretty chronic conditions, and so it'll be really cool to see if we can help some more people heal themselves with chronic cancer and other conditions. So with that being said, I'm just going to jump straight into the Q&A for you guys. If you do have other questions that come up, you can type them on here, but I will be honest, there's so many questions in here, I'm probably just going to go through it. Your best way to get your question answered is to send it in, because I've got heaps of them. And like I said, I'll do my best to catch up. So, getting started, without further ado, Alex from Melbourne says, "Hi Tyler, I have dry eyes. I often wake with dry eyes and find myself squinting through the day in order to keep them lubricated. I weigh 65 kilograms and hydrate 3 to 4 liters a day and avoid many dry foods. What can I do to help my dry eyes? P.S. Love your work." Thank you, Alex. Hope you're on here. I would say that out of those 3 to 4 liters of water that you're drinking a day, a lot of times it's I believe almost even better to hydrate. Like I've got my celery juice here, and I've got my full water here too. I put in 2 big pinches of Himalayan salt. So I know that salt helps our body to hold on to the water that it's getting, and our waters outside the cells need to be about the same salinity as the ocean in order for that exchange to take place with electrolysis and movement. There's an attractive quality that happens. So a lot of times if you're drinking a lot of water but you're low in sodium or certain minerals, the water's just kind of running out. Good way to hydrate is with a little bit of salt. Celery juice is obviously high in sodium itself. It's a really good balance. There's lots of minerals in there. It alkalizes the body. It corrects stomach problems if you have hydrochloric acid issues or other things. So celery juice is a great way for me to alkalize my body in the morning. All the minerals I need to maintain strong bones, healthy teeth, all these good types of things. And I would say, you know, hydrating from fresh fruits and vegetables is also a really good way to do that. There could be a problem with the actual tear ducts. So what I would recommend is if you can go into the Heal Thyself at Home and watch my eye exercises. I teach people these eye exercises to improve the quality of the eyes, but I also teach them the nodal points that actually drain fluids and release blockages, and it's literally like massaging around the eyes and the temples. There's certain areas that you can press on and you'll actually feel just a little bit of pain in that area if there's a block. And so if you can go through these little eye exercises and these areas, I would actually work on the tear ducts as well, like actually giving them a little bit of a massage to open them up. Ultimately, if exercising and moving these different nodal points and draining and hydrating properly doesn't work, I would recommend an extended fast, because when you do fast, it gives the body time to work on everything. And I'm not saying it's going to work the first time, but depending on the length of the fast and how often you do it, at some point your body's going to totally correct that condition and your eyes should be fine. In the meantime, you could use an external source. You go down and buy actual eyedropper, which regular dry eyes or whatever, but dump that crap out. And what I would recommend is, making like get a cup of water, distilled water or spring water would be best, and actually put a couple pinches of salt into it to the point that it tastes, you can touch the water and it tastes kind of like ocean water. And what you'd want to do is just let all the sediment settle to the bottom and pour the top into that little bottle. And it's just salt water. You don't really need anything else other than the salt and the water. You could add colloidal silver if you think there's some type of bacterial thing or something going on. It's not going to hurt you either way. So just salt water or a little bit of colloidal silver into your eyedropper, and I would be using that like 3 times a day, just wetting them, cleaning them out, doing the little eye exercises, and you should find success with that. Definitely let me know. Emily from Newcastle. Is the just juice no pulp for digestive reasons? I have used a NutriBullet in the past to make smoothies, juices, but it blends the whole fruit and veg. Is it important to have actual cold pressed juicer to eliminate pulp? Yes. If you want to have fresh squeezed juices like this, you need you don't need a cold press. Cold pressed juicers are the best way to do that because they'll last the longest. They'll keep the nutrition without oxidizing it. If you can imagine, if I just put celery into a blender and wanted to drink that, it'd be really tough. It'd probably be really hard. It wouldn't taste good. Now, smoothies are amazing. Absolutely fantastic. If you want to have a smoothie every day, I do. I have a berry banana date smoothie with coconut water pretty much every day, or a green smoothie, something like that, if I feel like having something different. So smoothies are fantastic, and I do recommend having smoothies all the time. If you're wanting to heal your digestive system and give it a complete break and do a fast, that's definitely different. So, having smoothies isn't fasting. Having a cold pressed juice is. That's more of a liquid type of diet where you're getting all the water-soluble vitamins, you're getting minerals, you're getting antioxidants, you're hydrating, but your body's able to kind of take a break and shut down. It doesn't have to be going through a lot of stuff. So irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, all these sorts of things, the body just wants a break, and it needs a break essentially to heal itself, but you're still getting all those good nutrients. So I hope that makes sense. John from Sydney. Hi, I'm currently in a job that requires me to work from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. What are the best times to be sleeping and eating? Or things I can do to help my body go through working these hours? So I used to work in a casino at nights. I started at 10 and I got off at 6, so very similar. Everybody that I worked with, used the night like the daytime, and then they would stay awake as if, it was still daytime and then night, and they would go to bed, around noon or something like this, and then they would get up and do the whole thing over again. So you can actually structure your night like the daytime, do the same amount of hours, and you could use the whole intermittent fasting structure if that's what you're wanting to do to be healthy and live a longer, healthier life. There's no single thing that will extend your life more, according to actual science, than intermittent fasting, doing longer periods where you give your body the time to detox. It boosts protein recycling, protein utilization, it boosts human growth hormone. It does so many good things, reduces waste and allows your body to detox properly. So if you look at the hours where most people would do an intermittent fast, waking up and waiting till noon, you do that same thing at night, and then you'd have, your lunch, and I'd recommend, fresh fruits and smoothies and things like that for lunch. snacking throughout, the afternoon, which would be through your night, and then having dinner when you get off of work at home. Sounds really weird. I never followed that. When I got off at 6 o'clock in the morning, I'd go straight home and go to bed 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'd sleep for like 3 or 4 hours, and I'd get up and I'd actually have my day, and then I would take a nap in the later afternoon, like 6, 7 o'clock, like I was going to bed, and then wake up. So I'd do like 3 or 4 hours in the morning, 3 or 4 hours sleeping at night. And then when I had the weekends off, fully went back to a normal schedule of sleeping at night, getting up in the morning, because I wanted to spend the days with my wife and daughter at the time. So, um, you got to do whatever works for you, but you can incorporate the intermittent fasting and lifestyle with that, like I talked about. You also have, with solariums, there are different types of UV light. Is there a particular type which works best? If you're going to a solarium, which I don't know how because most of them are outlawed in Australia, but if you have your own, or you want to buy one, or you do have access to one, the people that where you go, they'll typically say, hey, this bed is like a UVA, which is more like the sun, which will do the similar to what the sun is. So I would prefer, if I'm going to go into a tanning bed and get myself a hit of vitamin D, I want it to be as close to the sun as possible. And then they have these big high pressure beds that are more UVB, but they penetrate and they create a deep tan, all this type of stuff, and they're usually more expensive. You could feel it out. I think that anytime you're going into a tanning bed, you should go in there, with some intelligence. And if it's a 15-minute bed, maybe just go for 8 or 9 minutes just to get a hit of vitamin D, and you will feel it. Like if it's wintertime or you haven't had vitamin D for a long time, the next day you feel really good because it's just a big hit of vitamin D. I recommend putting some coconut oil on the skin, showering, eating a healthy diet. The antioxidants that you get from fresh fruits and vegetables are what's going to, keep you healthy, and that sort of thing. So typically it's the UVA that's more like the sun. The UVB's concentration is a little more artificial, I would say. And most places you go to would be able to tell you which ones are more like the sun. And again, don't overdo it. Yeah. Brina from Melbourne, how do you treat trigger finger? Damn it, I don't know what trigger finger is. So if you send me a private message on Facebook, Rena, I'm happy to look into that, do some research. Obviously, I don't want to take the time right now. But yeah, I'll look into that and have a conversation with you. Sue Nam from Melbourne. Hello, Sue. How much coconut oil is too much when the only other oil in the diet is flaxseed oil or extra virgin olive oil? So I have to be really honest with you guys. I'm not a big fan of concentrated oils. I'm a big believer that if I was in nature, I would find a coconut tree and I would drink the coconut water and I would eat the coconut. I'd find olives and I'd eat the olive. I would find, flax seeds and I'd grind the flax seeds and maybe put it into my cereal or eat them in some way. So I like to get the really good fats from the actual whole food source. I eat avocados, I eat nuts and seeds, I eat hummus, I eat tahini. I love these types of things. I think that those fats are essential. When it comes down to actually cooking hundreds of things and making pure fat, I'm not big on that. I think that it's great to take that stuff and put it on my skin because my skin eats it up and it's really good for your skin and being out in the sun, but I'm not a big drinker of oils. In saying that, I know that there are beneficial qualities, antifungal, antibacterial, whatever, but in a positive way, especially from coconut oil, and sometimes they can help lubricate the digestive system. I personally only use concentrated oils for a cleanse. If I feel things are really dry or I feel like there's some liver stuff going on or something, I would incorporate a liver gallbladder flush with extra virgin olive oil, grapefruit juice mixed together. I might have some coconut oil just because I feel like I need to flush some things out. But I don't drink oils. I might occasionally use a little bit of extra virgin olive oil in my, salad or on some, good sprouted grain bread with a little bit of oil, some salt or something occasionally. But again, I'm not big on the oils. So I would say if you are big on drinking the actual oils or using them in foods, I would become a little more conscious of it. just because I don't think too much concentrated fat is a good thing. And everybody's different. Some people can break down fats really well, some people don't. And if you're not, that's going to upload into your circulatory system, cause blood sugar problems, candida, all kinds of other stuff, or it's going to be in your lymphatic system and just cause some blockage in general. So some people misconstrue my words. Like, I know these are healthy oils, but using them with intelligence and not overdoing it. Yeah. So if you're someone that likes to have coconut oil on a daily basis, I would do a tablespoon or a couple tablespoons in the morning, probably on an empty stomach, and your body will burn those fats and hopefully get through it. Sound good? Okay. Hope that makes sense. So you don't have to come out completely, but I'd just be conscious. A lot of people come to me and they say, "Oh, I don't." And I say, I look in their eyes and I can see yellow accumulation on the whites of the eyes. That's a definite sign there's excess fat. I can see other signs that there's too much fat. And I'm like, hey, you probably have too much fat. You need to reduce it, or you need to improve your liver gallbladder function so you can break it down better. And people are like, I don't eat any fat. What are you talking about? And then I ask them what they have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then they're like, oh, wow, I actually do have a lot of fat throughout the day in concentrated forms, in my cooking and supplementing and all these sorts of things. So overall, I like to get my fats from whole foods because I believe the whole food also has the phytonutrients and things that help break down that fat. If you look at an avocado, you cut it open, all the phytonutrients and enzymes and things are there to break down that fat. So when you eat it, it's helping that process. If I go cook 1,000 avocados and I take the pure oil and drink it, or put it all over everything, cook with it, put it on this, put it on that, and have it as a supplement, I think that it's too much. I think I made my point. Hopefully you can find balance with that perspective. Glynis Stein. Hi, Tyler. Could I do an extended fast with Rejuvelac water, kombucha, beet kvass, pineapple tapachi, and water kefir? Or is it imperative to do a water-only fast for 21 days? I practice reflexology, body talk, pain neutralization techniques, massage, psyche, so my day can be quite physical, and I was wondering if you could advise. If your day is quite physical and you're wanting to detox and also, heal yourself and feel good because you got to be working and things, I would recommend a juice fast. Yeah, I would recommend Rejuvelac water. Fantastic. Kombucha, awesome. I don't really know what these other things are. But yeah, and you could add some juices. You could add some vegetable broth at night, and you're still going to have, an amazing experience of energy and feeling good, but also detoxification, your body healing over a longer period of time. If you really want the benefits of a deep water fast, then you need to create the space that you can actually fully go rest and have that really deep detoxification process. And then in that case, no, you wouldn't have all of these other things, in my opinion. You'd just have water, maybe a bit of salt, and in some cases, potentially some herbal teas that don't have any calories or sugars. And then these things would be great after to reestablish good gut bacteria and get you rocking. Okay, David. I'm a 22-year-old female. For the past 9 to 12 months, I've been suffering from hair loss to the point where I've lost a majority of my hair on my scalp. Doctors have diagnosed a severe case of alopecia areata. However, I was first diagnosed with this condition in 2006, and this instance has provided me with different symptoms. My symptoms include bloating, loss of appetite, moodiness, irregular menstruation. I've been to naturopaths, nutritionists, specialist doctors to improve my condition through diet, exercise, and hormone treatment. However, I'm not seeing the results I want. My hair keeps falling out, only grows a certain amount, etc., etc. Any recommendations would be greatly appreciated. My direct thought is from the symptoms that you've mentioned is that you potentially have parasites. And the excretion of parasites can interrupt our hormonal system. And create moodiness and create loss of appetite and create bloating. Irregular menstruation would be a hormonal thing. So a 10-day water fast will completely reset our hormones. One thing that's really interesting is people that do extended water fasting, they typically find their hair will fall out. because their hormones reset, and in that resetting they have like some hair loss, but once it's fully back into balance and everything starts producing, it all comes back and looks beautiful and they don't have a problem. I have this issue with clients all the time. I get people come do 21-day water fast, 3 to 4 weeks later they're like, oh my god, I've got all this hair coming out. And I'm not talking about like bald patches, but I'm saying like, oh, I'm in the shower, there's a lot of hair coming out, what's happening? And I tell them, don't freak out. Take a deep breath, relax. This is very normal. The more you concentrate on it, the more you're probably going to have it because you're creating stress in your body. And they do. They'll typically, okay, I'll relax and I trust that in the next couple of weeks it'll pass, and it does. And then their hair comes in even fuller. It looks beautiful, no problem. So what I'm saying is if you wanted to reset the hormonal cycle, a 10-day water fast would be ideal. If you wanted to kill parasites, a 10-day fast or more would be ideal. In killing parasites, I would recommend colon cleansing, colonics first, a bit of juice fasting for about 2 to 3 days, and then going into a 10-day water fast. And midway through the water fast, you could start to supplement with a parasite formula like clove, wormwood, and green or black walnut husk as a combination. If you get it in a pill form, you could actually make some like ginger lemon tea and put it into a tea, or any other type of herbal tea like dandelion root or something like this, which tastes quite nice. You can make it into a tea and have the recommended dosage for the last 5 days of the water fast, because the original colon cleansing and the juice fasting will start to clean things out in the colonics, and I would recommend doing enemas, potentially colonics every couple of days during the water fast, and then doing that parasite cleanse will really start to kill, and you'll start to see the die-off and things coming out of you. I'm not saying you'll completely eliminate the parasite in that one time, but you most likely will see parasites and plaque and all kinds of things coming out. You'll reset your hormonal system. I think you'll be in a really beautiful place, if not completely healed. And worst case scenario, you might have to do this 2, 3, 4 times every 3 to 6 months, doing like a 10-day water fasting process, which would take about 2 weeks. That's my recommendation. I believe if you do that, you will have success. I can't tell you how long it'll take because I don't know who you are and what other things you got going on. The body's going to start healing every time you do it, though, and you're going to heal and detox all kinds of stuff until eventually you get to the actual core of that issue and find yourself in a really beautiful place. So the Heal Thyself at Home should have all the information that you need to prepare, all the tips you need while you're fasting, and the space. Might require 2 weeks off of work, 1 to 2 times a year, or whatever you can, and you will get there. Okay, Maria Gallo, how are you? Hi, Tyler. Wishing you and your family a Merry Christmas and a wonderful New Year. Thank you for being there for me and all the others. Lots of love. Cool. Thank you. No question there, but just acknowledgement. David Murray from Newcastle. Hi, Tyler. Great to be joining the webinar for the first time. My question is about reoccurring thyroid condition. I have a disease called Graves' disease, overactive thyroid. I medicate for it, and it goes away for a bit, and then it reoccurs on and off now for 6 years. I've seen blogs for underactive thyroids, but need to know about overactive thyroid. So I'm a big believer that healing the thyroid in general is the same for under or overactive. And I know that there's going to be a lot of people that are like, what if you do something for underactive, you're going to destroy the thyroid and make it worse and all these sorts of problems. I don't believe that. I believe you heal the thyroid and you're going to be in a really beautiful place. Energetically, according to Louise Hay, the thyroid is about not feeling like you get to do what you want to do in life. When's it going to be my turn? I never get to do what I want to do. So I believe that it's really important to start to create experiences in your life that you feel like you're doing what you want, that it is your turn, that you're showing up for yourself, you're nourishing yourself, you're taking care of yourself. I also know that the thyroid is a glandular system. So if the pineal or the pituitary gland are out of balance, then it's not going to, the thyroid is not going to operate correctly. If you're overdoing your adrenal glands and the adrenal glands are, pushing your metabolism and doing all the things that your thyroid's supposed to, then your thyroid's going to be out of balance. So it's a matter of having balance in the endocrine system. I teach a process called the 5 Tibetan rites. I believe if you get out every single day, do the 5 Tibetan rites, at least 11 of each of them, it'll start to open and balance your endocrine system, and it'll start to be more in alignment. Energetically, if you feel like you're doing what you want, if you're loving yourself, nurturing yourself, figuring out how to de-stress a bit, okay? These things are very important for our overall health and balancing our endocrine system. I talked before about a 10-day water fast and how it resets the endocrine system. This could also be highly beneficial. I believe fully that if you go into any kind of fast, a juice fast or a water fast, you could cut out the medication if you choose to, and totally get off of it and allow yourself to start healing. I also know that the medication for hyperactive thyroid can destroy your thyroid and create underactive thyroid in the long run. Yeah, so it's best to really heal yourself and get on top of this so you don't end up creating the opposite problem. Yeah, balance in lifestyle, intermittent fasting after a fast, giving the body time to detox, really becoming conscious of just your emotions and energy, things like this. I will say that thyroid conditions sometimes do take a long time, and working with alternative type of practitioner to help you to get to that place. Being very conscious, you said that for long periods of time you don't need it, and then the symptoms come back, like what's happening in your life around those times when it is coming back, and seeing if you can get on top of that. Mushrooms are absolutely fantastic for your thyroid and correcting. Seaweed and things like that, nori, wraps, things like this. And I know some people say, oh, you don't want to do iodine if you got high. I don't believe that. So you can believe other people, you can believe me, you decide, do some research yourself. Most of the research you find is like, if you do iodine and the things that are good for the thyroid with hyper, it's going to overextend it. Again, I don't believe that. I think that detoxification, fasting, mentally, emotionally, physically, getting into balance, making sure you have a good routine every day, wake up, hydrate, exercise, do whatever you need to do to clear everything out, do the 5 Tibetan rites to open everything up, have some more balance, notice when you're getting stressed out, breathe deeply, show up for yourself, stop taking care of everybody else and not yourself. Yeah, these sorts of things. It's a big deal. There's a lot to do. But I also believe that having the condition might actually help you to get your entire life more into order and into balance, which is a gift for the rest of your life. Hope that helps. Saw you earlier in Newcastle this month. Great info. Really enjoyed your presentation. Thank you so much. Rose Barnett from Scottsdale. What would be best for me to get off my biosylin injections that I have every 4 weeks for rheumatic fever? Okay, if you're getting rheumatic fever every 4 weeks, you have a massive inflammation problem. And water fasting is by far the best way to reduce inflammation in the body and to heal yourself and correct these issues. You could do a juice fast, longer juice fast, or you could do a water fast, which is going to be the fastest way to reverse this problem. If you're doing, antibiotic injections and things, like over time, it's just going to, be really tough on the system. I'm not sure exactly if that's what it is, biosylin injections. I'm assuming that's what it is. Maybe it's a steroid. But if you're doing it for an antibiotic purposes, you could use apple cider vinegar and garlic as a replacement for that sort of thing. But again, it comes down to rheumatic fever is an inflammatory disease. And it's obviously there's a lot of inflammation, there's a lot of acid in the system. So fasting is going to be your fastest way to freedom, period. Take the time, do it. And start to use garlic and other things, as that antibiotic type of source. Go to probiotic sources, with fermented foods, sauerkraut, again, the garlic in there, rebuilding the digestive system really well, alkalizing the body, daily having your really good alkaline juices and things. Yeah, fasting will correct it. Long juice fast or a shorter water fast. How can you get through the Christmas period without eating too much sugary foods, alcohol, chocolate are everywhere, and how to recover as quickly as possible from it? I've just started changing my diet and haven't done a cleanse yet. Alcohol, sugar, lots of food, indulgence at times, toxifying yourself is a good reason for a detox. And I think the best way to get out of that and back into a healthy lifestyle really is like to do a colon cleanse. The colon cleanse is just kind of plain, it's eating the same thing. It is what it is, but I find it's the best way for me to break habits when I've been traveling, when I've been, with other family or friends or different things I haven't seen for a long time. I do relax a little bit. I do a little bit of retoxification myself. So after that, doing a good colon cleanse, doing some enemas, some colonics, maybe even having some digestive tea, senna tea, and just really cleaning everything out is ideal. Either doing a short fast or doing really good intermittent fasting after that colon cleanse brings me right back into it. Exercise, sweating in the sauna, getting back into strength training, all these things, just getting back into my work and my passion are all things that just bring me right out of that kind of crash period. I had a little bit of that myself around Christmas because I went home to see my brothers, my family I haven't seen for 6 to 8 years. My brother got married, so yeah, I had a little bit of downtime myself. I'm human. How can you get through the Christmas period? I just read that one. Thank you, Nicole. Chad Timmermans, Adelaide. I just signed up. Where is the best place to start? Heal Thyself at Home. Week 1. Start there. Monique Marchione, Sydney. We take amino acids daily as a powder in water for energy and regeneration. We have been taking these for about 10 years. Can you suggest which food can give us a complete amino acid profile as we are taking the powder form? Hope you understand my question. Of course I understand your question. Amino acids are critical for regeneration, for many functions in the body, absolutely fantastic. And we have been lied to. We're told that, certain foods aren't complete in proteins and amino acids, and that is simply not the truth. The truth is, based on T. Colin Campbell's work and all the information he's published, just about every single food is a complete protein and amino acid profile if you have enough caloric intake. So I could explain this whole thing. I think I do in many of my different videos about protein. I'd recommend going on YouTube, Tyler Tolman, protein, and I explain the entire thing. I show the science behind it. So what it comes down to is you can get amazing array of high levels of amino acids in berries, an amazing array of complete protein in bananas if you eat enough of them, awesome profile of amino acids in dates. And the reason I mention these 3 foods is because every morning after, I get up in the morning, I go for a long walk, sometimes I run, sometimes I bike, I come back, I go through my own ritual process of shake and bake, my own techniques like Tibetan rites, and then I do 45 minutes of strength training. Sometimes I do 2 hours of jiu-jitsu. So it's a lot of physical exertion that I do every single day. And the way I replace that is a banana, date, berry, coconut water smoothie. That's what I have. And I know it's a complete amino acid profile, and if I have a big smoothie, it's going to be about 1,000 calories, and my body's going to absolutely get everything it needs, energy-wise from the good sugars, fiber-wise to clean everything out, vitamins, minerals, amino acids, all the amino acids in there. And then later on in the day, I'm going to have some hummus. I'm going to have some nuts and seeds and maybe dried fruits. And then for dinner, I'm going to have, a big, awesome vegetable salad, cooked, steamed vegetable, etc. My body's getting more than I could ever possibly need from foods. I think if there's any supplementation that might actually be absolutely necessary. It might be a complex B12 supplement. That's it. Maybe like zinc for some people need zinc, but if you have some hummus, garbanzo beans, hummus is probably the highest source of zinc on the planet. So, you just have some vegetables, some hummus or some organic, corn chips or whatever it is, and some hummus, have that. I love to have that most days anyway, some beetroot hummus. We make it fresh, we make it organic at home. It's always in the fridge. I have, tahini types of dips. We have amazing cheese, like nacho cheese dip that's made from like some almonds, some like yeast, some other things, some garlic, some onions, which are good gut bacteria. It's all the B vitamins, including B12. It's like all these beautiful things, and you just sit there and eat it like cheese, and it tastes amazing. Anyway, so it's incorporating the types of foods into your diet that you don't need to supplement with all these other things. And if you were maybe not eating the best diet and eating a lot of cooked foods and you don't have the enzymatic response and things, maybe you needed amino acids. I promise you, if you get into the right type of lifestyle, you don't need those things. Okay? Cool. Bruce Williams, Kiowa, wherever that is, sounds great. Please remind me of the Kabbalah ratios. I'm currently on day 10 of a water fast and wondered how much longer for my skin condition to go. Pitted keratitis on the feet, jock itch, question mark. How much of my life I've carried body fat from my lower abdomen just above the jock line, love handles. I have a feeling it might be emotionally related. Could you please advise, even still, had them, those smaller when I was electromagnetically tested, 10% body fat. Okay. So I want to go to energetics here and look up fat. And if I look up fat and maybe on the thighs or the hips, you said love handles, it says lumps of stubborn anger at the parents. So maybe there's some deep anger from the past with your relationship with your father or your relationship with your mother. Something to really look at and go into and clear and forgive and get back to a beautiful place of love, amazingness. I think a lot of people hold fat around the belly area and hips and thighs because the colon's backed up. So maybe there's something you're holding on to from the past. Letting go, I let go, I let flow. I let go, I let flow. I let go, I let flow. I release the past. I release that which I no longer need. I move forward with love in my heart. Working on these things, doing these affirmations daily, cleaning the digestive system, colon cleansing, 4 days out of the month doing, some colon cleansing, high fiber, enemas, colonics, and then eating really healthy for the rest of the month, little bits of fasting, just to get that digestive system really moving and functioning the way they should. It's probably going to take 3 colon cleanses over a 3-month period to get to the point to where it's actually functioning the way that it should. First time you do a colon cleanse, it's probably going to be tough. You're probably going to be backed up. But once we get the colon working properly, there's not that excess toxicity that exists there, and you don't need the fat. The fat is a buffer for acids. If there's an acidic condition anywhere in the body's going to lay down fat to buffer that. And yes, I believe there's that energetic side of things as well. The thighs, packing weight on the thighs, packed childhood anger, often rage at the father. Belly fat, anger at being denied nourishment. Maybe the belief that you're being denied love or being denied, says spiritual food, being denied, just connection or something. So something to look at. Hope that helps. I know it does. Mira Shal, Mahogany Creek, Perth. Sounds like a cool place. Do all nuts need to be soaked, including pistachios, pine nuts, etc.? No. The nuts that you can soak to make them more bioavailable are the ones with the brown shell. It's the brown shell that typically contains something called phytic acid, which is supposedly a digestive inhibitor. And there's 2 camps. One camp says it's a good thing to have the digestive inhibitor because then it bypasses your digestive system and your good gut flora and bacteria feed on it, and that boosts your probiotics in your gut. And there's a lot of really cool science, and who is it? How Not to Die. Dr. Michael Greger has a lot of cool science on that. But it's the ones with the brown shell that you could soak to make it more bioavailable so you do digest and get the quality nutrients from it. So walnuts probably should be soaked. Almonds could be soaked, unless you're shelling them and getting the blanched almonds. So pine nuts, absolutely not. Pistachios, no. Mainly just the brown shell nuts. And even like Brazil nuts, there's only a little bit of the shell, and a lot of times a lot of it's taken off. I think it's fine just to have it the way it is. I don't think you need to soak it. Brazil nuts are fantastic for high blood pressure, for cholesterol. Amazing research about Brazil nuts. The amount of selenium in there can prevent cancer, can do all kinds of really cool things. So at least, once a week or once a month, if you can have a big handful of Brazil nuts, it really just boosts all these mineral levels and selenium, which is really good for you. Thanks for asking. If on an anti-candida diet says no sugar, including fruit, is that really going to heal? No. You're still going to have excess fat. It's still going to be blocked in your system. The candida is going to come back, and you're always going to have an issue with it, most likely. Yes, you could cut out fruit. You could go on like a no sugar diet, and you will have success with that. But it'll come back, and you'll still have problems because you're not dealing with the core issue of what's actually causing the candida. Candida blooms in our circulatory system to eat up excess sugars because those sugars are stuck there because there's excess fat coating your artery walls. So what do we want to do? We want to strip the excess fat because that's not good anyways for atherosclerotic reasons and other things. If you literally went on a fruit-only diet for 30 days, you'd hit a point where you'd no longer have candida. You'd emulsify the fats and then be very conscious of eating whole food fats and not taking too many excess fats. And even the animal fats, if you could reduce those radically, that would be beneficial. And, personally, I like to, if I'm going to have more fatty types of meals and foods, I might have those on the weekend, a Saturday and a Sunday where maybe I am having more fatty types of foods. And then during the week, I'm right back into my plant-based, whole food, smoothies, fresh, this, that, the other. And I really think that there are times where we could get, if we're lacking any of those, certain amino acids, fatty acids, omegas and things like that, we can fill it up on the weekends. But it's not like something, the way nutrition is taught is like, you have to have this and this and this and this every single day or you're going to die. No, not the case. If you have times where you load yourself with that stuff, you're going to be just fine. But there are times where we might have big cravings for it, so satiate that from the whole food perspective. But I think in general, we should be eating a high plant carbohydrate, fresh fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, grains, etc. 5 days a week, intermittent fasting, on, working, doing great. Weekends, splurge a little bit, and you'll get anything that's potentially lacking from the omegas and fats. Boost it up, yada, yada, yada. Andrea from Sydney, if I'm wanting to stop thyroid medication, how do I go about it? Slowly, carefully, and with balance and health and a holistic perspective in mind. I talked a little bit about it earlier. Again, thyroid medication, it is one of these things, like it does take time and distance to get clear and get these things working again. Unless you're, going to do a really big fast and make radical changes, that's one way you could do it. I had an individual from Melbourne come that was on 8 different types of medication, including thyroid medication, and I took him off of everything day 1 of the fast. And he did fantastic, lost heaps of weight, felt really good. His only issue was like worry about thyroid medication. And so he got back onto that, but a lot less, cut it way down. And it's a process. It's a process of trust. It's a process of de-stressing, getting clear, getting more balanced, certain techniques of exercise and meditation in your life and breathing, and becoming very conscious of our patterns, taking care of ourselves. So it's a slow process, but it can be faster based on what you're willing to do. And everything you're learning in Heal Thyself at Home is going to take you there. Get on the energetic stuff, Louise Hay. There's another book, a woman by the name of Ina Segal, that is more comprehensive, that is beautiful. I'd recommend looking at her stuff and doing her visualizations and exercises as well. I think her book's called The Body's Many Languages, Ina Segal, I-N-N-A. I think it's S-E-J Segal, Segal, something like that. If you Google it, you'll find it. It's a yellow-looking book. Brilliant. She's actually flying out to do a workshop at our Heal Thyself program in February. 3 days of amazing magic. Okay, Aiden. Hey, I watched the webinar and was wondering how to get the ebooks for the salad dressing and smoothie recipes. We have an email address called office@consciouslifestyler.com. Typically takes about 48 to 72 hours to get a solid response. If you ask them for that, I'm pretty sure they can give you a link to download those books. Sarah, I have a daughter who has a tree nut allergy. Because of this, it seems much harder to use plant-based diet. Is there anything you would suggest? Yes, absolutely. Depending on the severity of the nut allergy, I think that you can bring the nut into the room and have her hold it, touch it. If there's no reaction, she could rub it on her lips and do that every day. If there's no reaction, she could chew it up and spit it out. If there's a little reaction, she'd want to chew up a little bit and spit it out every day, because it's the phytonutrient inside of that nut that is causing a detoxification response within the body. My dad's helped dozens of people. I've helped quite a few people get off of or clear themselves of many different forms of allergies. And the specific nut she's allergic to, if she just avoids it completely, whatever toxin that is that needs to be released, eventually she'll have another allergy, and then another allergy, and then another allergy. And this is what happens to people. They get an allergy, they avoid the food completely, and then they have another one, another one, another one, then their life is complete freaking hell. I was allergic to pineapples when I was young. My throat closed up. I got a big breakout. My mom said, don't ever eat a pineapple again. What did I do? Luckily, I was born a rebellious little bastard. I went and ate pineapple. Broke out again. It was a little bit less. Ate pineapple again because they were in season. My neighbor, my best friend's mom had them, and I couldn't help myself. They tasted really good, and I loved them. And I was willing to break out and have my throat close up a little bit. I actually thought it was quite funny. Anyway, what happened? I detoxed. My thyroid actually detoxed radiation. My mother had thyroid cancer. There was a power plant called Hanford Nuclear Power Plant that everybody probably had a level of radiation. And if everybody would have eaten fresh organic pineapples when they were in season, they probably could have detoxed and not had thyroid cancer. So my big belief is that most allergies to nuts and other foods is the body detoxing quickly. So we need to take very small micro-dosing amounts of these until there's no reaction whatsoever. And sometimes fasting can help too. But if it's a young child, obviously there might not be extensive fasting that can take place. Unless it's an allergy to peanuts. Peanuts are not an actual nut, and a lot of times they contain aflatoxin, which might be reacting to the body, which is an actual toxin. So if it's a severe reaction to peanuts, just avoid peanuts. Cool. I asked it at last meeting, but you didn't hear, but didn't hear it answered. I heard you say that the immune system will reset in 3 days of a water fast. Yeah, the immune system does reset according to actual science in 3 days. Like, it reduces all the old system, gets rid of stuff, and then it rebuilds through embryonic style stem cells. I can send you the research if you'd like. But I wanted to know if you've seen joint deformities reverse. I'm currently in a flare-up, and I'm afraid my wrist has gone on steroids. Get back using it, having the healing foods. No drugs for the last 18 months, just not as fabulous as I want. Worried I'm fooling myself, suffer being crippled. Yeah, so the immune system resets in 3 days. If this is an autoimmune disease, though, it's going to take a lot more than just a 3-day water fast. My recommendation is following the protocol for colon cleansing, juicing for a couple days, going into a 7 to 10-day water fast, and doing that 3 to 4 times a year. And in 1 year, that condition will be gone. And in between that time, you need to be eating healthy, exercising, being balanced, looking at relationships, look at the energetic side of joint problems and inflammation and arthritis and things like that, and make sure that you're also correcting the mental, emotional side of things. Thank you for asking. I have learned so much from you, Tyler. Legend. Thank you. Alex Tyson from Melbourne. I keep waking with red, dry eyes. Okay, well, your body's going into detoxification at night. So it sounds like there's a deeper level of detoxification that needs to happen to clear everything out so that this doesn't happen. I keep hydrated according to 1 liter per 22 kilograms of body weight. I did talk about hydration earlier. What can I do to help? I really believe it's going to be a deeper detoxification process that's needed to clear up, having red eyes and things in the morning. They shouldn't be that way unless you're drinking the night before or doing something each day that's slightly toxic, or if there's something deep going on that really needs to be healed and cleaned out. It's because every night your body's going through cycles of detoxification through different organ systems, and if one of those organs is toxic, starts to detox, it's going to show up in your eyes, especially if it's a heavy form of detox. Colon cleanse, fast, 30 days raw foods or more, and you'll be seeing those whites of your eyes glowing. 30-day adventure with a colon cleanse and raw food, pulse, fresh fruit in the morning, pulse through the day, and a salad at night. Absolutely phenomenal. Some of the best experiences I've ever had with health, vitality, clarity, strength, speed is a raw food diet with pulse, nearly a bag each day. Elaine Beckus from Adelaide. How are you, Elaine? In the Life is Movement ebook, it advises not to do a colon cleanse if you have recently undergone surgery. I have had surgery a few weeks ago. When is the recommended waiting time to undergo a colon cleanse? So, you can colon cleanse by eating apples, by eating fresh fruit, by eating high fiber food, by having some oats, barley soaked in sprouted types of grains and things like this. Beans, lentils, all these are good for rebuilding the gut, good for digestive movement. My energy levels are pretty bad due to antibiotics, drugs I'm taking. Yes, so it's rebuilding the gut, getting the fermented foods, getting the garlic, getting the onions, getting the fresh fruits in the morning, vegetables in the afternoon, incorporating some of these things, even like coconut yogurts or kefirs or things like this, are going to be really good for rebuilding the gut. Essentially, I wouldn't recommend the actual colon cleanse because of the expanding and contracting that happens with that process. It's a pretty aggressive scrubber brush that's going to push plaque and knock things out of your colon. And if you've just had surgery, it could potentially re-aggravate a wound site. So the body takes about 60 to 90 days to completely heal itself, typically from surgeries and things like that. Your digestive system heals quicker, so that's a good thing, but I would still give it 60 to 90 days before you do an aggressive colon cleanse. Everything else I talked about, definitely get onto it. Taryn Adams from Perth. I'd really appreciate it if you could answer my question, as mine were missed last month. And this is probably why I need to do this once a week. If you'd like me to do this once a week, Office of Conscious Lifestyler, send an email and say, we would love Tyler to do this every week. And I'll do my best to get on it. I actually enjoy it. I've been doing your Heal Thyself at Home program and I'm a bit confused about the order in which to do the various phases: colon cleanse, enema, juice fast, raw detox. So the order is colon cleanse, 7-day juice fast, doing enemas every day while you're juice fasting, and then raw foods after that for 30 days. So you actually spelled out the order exactly the way it needs to be in your question. When doing the colon cleanse, is it best to just take the colon cleanse product for the 4 days, or good to eat fruit as well? You can definitely eat fruit as well. You can even have like a little small salad at night. There's no like one religious way you have to do it. Fresh squeezed juices, even potentially like a detoxifying tea if you're having trouble getting things moving. I do suggest sometimes like senna tea or a salt flush. I do recommend enemas or going and having a colonic, especially if you're a person that's a little bit more backed up. So yeah, I do recommend the 4-day solid process, unless you're like somebody who potentially has a really shocking backed up digestive system, or you're the type of person that only has one bowel movement a day or every 2 days, or sometimes really shocking. Then I might recommend actually taking the colon cleanse twice a day with fresh fruit in the morning, juices, smoothies, whatever, a healthier diet for like 30 days. And there's enough in there to do a 30-day process of just getting everything moving and working well, and then do the 4-day full-on process after that, and then it'll work uh, well. But even if you just do the 4-day process, yes, you might feel, backed up and have issues. But if you do that every month, within 3 to 4 months, you're just going to have massive movements. Things are going to be working, and you're going to love me forever. Okay? Hope that helps. How often should I do enemas as part of a healthy routine, with or without coffee? Coffee stimulates the liver to dump bile. It helps to detoxify. It gives you a little bit of a boost. It cleans things out. I would recommend doing solid amount of enemas or colonics 3 to 4 days every single month. Take 4 days every single month where you like eat fresh food or do my colon cleanse or just fresh fruit, and you're doing enemas or detox tea, whatever, and just cleaning everything out. The ancient Egyptian culture, the entire culture did 4 days of digestive cleansing and just purification every month, every moon, and they would do it on the new moon cycle. You can choose to do that, look at the new moon times and do that, that'd be great. Or just, when you're really feeling like kind of backed up and things coming up, jump into it. Ion from Australia. Hi, Tyler. My granddaughter is 6 years old and has a recurring urinary tract infection and also a duplex kidney. Any suggestions would be appreciated. I know that using antibiotics makes urinary tract infections occur more often. So you have to stop using antibiotics. Instead of antibiotics, you use a natural form of antibiotic, which is apple cider vinegar and garlic. And if you use those things, it's a pro and prebiotic that reestablishes good gut bacteria, reestablishes good flora, and when all these things are established, it's going to prevent you from getting a urinary tract infection. Hygiene is also very important. I would recommend actually shaving if urinary tract infection is a problem, and keeping that area clean, making sure there's not any poo particles going from back to front, making sure if there is sexual activity that the man is clean during the process and not going back and forth. These sorts of things, it's kind of taboo to talk about, but it's very important to have good quality hygiene. My dad even recommends potential for a yogurt or a probiotic actually used as a douche in that area. And even apple cider vinegar douche could be beneficial for just cleaning everything out. Diet is very important, not having too much excess fat, too much animal foods, or foods that are going to be messing with the good bacteria of the digestive system, avoiding chlorinated water from the tap, etc., etc., etc. Hope that helps. So we're right on 10 o'clock. I'm going to take one more question. And like I said, I will get on here more often because it looks like there is a ton of questions more. Looks like I probably need to start doing this once a week. I love doing this, by the way, guys. I love you guys. I want to answer all your questions. I want to be engaged with you guys. So just tell me, yes, Tyler, we want you to do it every week. We can record it. We can get it out to you. The problem I used to have was, even when I did this once a week, and just nobody was showing up and I didn't have any questions. So I stopped doing it as often. But it looks like you guys are more engaged. You're really wanting these questions answered, and you have lots of them. So I'm willing to do more. So actually, I'm going to leave it at that. Next one, we'll start with Fiona from Brisbane. Why do ears get sore and blocked up after a fast? And you can use H3% food-grade hydrogen peroxide to clean them out. I'll talk more about that next time we get on. I love you guys. You're amazing. Be the change you want to see in the world. Drink some fantastic fresh squeezed juices. Make sure you're hydrated. Get out in the sun. It's summertime in Australia. Get out there and exercise, at least long walks, do some form of strength training, breathe deeply. Know that you are a powerful being with the ability to create whatever you want. Take full ownership for your life. Whatever's happening in your life, you are responsible for. If your relationships are shit, you can change it. Take a deep breath, show up, have compassion, love yourself, feed yourself, nourish others, love others, spill your cup over. Let's all work together to be healthier, wiser, happier. I love you. Come and see me in Australia when I'm on tour. Please post it on Facebook, send it out to social media. Let's get more and more people into healing themselves. Let's come together as a community so we can support each other. That's my message for today. Thank you guys so much. This is Tyler Tolman, signing off.